Hello there, everybody. This is Mel Allen. Hats off to baseball, 'cause it's always heads above the rest. The game used to go head over heels about hair. So call in a head shrinker, 'cause through the years, head cases have often made headlines. The Astros head 'em up and move 'em out with help from a heady veteran who headed off right. But the rest of the West isn't heading for the hills just yet. The Brewers go to the head of the class, heading off opponents at the pass and using their heads to surprise almost everybody with heads-up play. A teenager had his head in the clouds after sharing history with a home run headmaster. So get your head in the game, 'cause we'll call the heads and tails, y'all, on This Week in Baseball. Now in our second decade.
I like This Week in Baseball because they usually show my home runs and not my strikeouts.
Last time we saw the Astrodome was for the final game of the '86 National League Championship Series, when Houston lost a 16-inning gut-wrencher to the New York Mets in one of the greatest playoff games ever.
It hurt, and I'm sure it took a while for everybody to recover, but it wasn't like we went in there and got blown out by the Mets. Every game we played was close, and a break here and there, and we might have been in the World Series, but we weren't, and they won it. So, you know, we've just got to get in that situation again and hopefully win a couple more games.
This year, Houston was on its way with 6 wins in a row before its first loss, thanks partly to a banner start by Jose Cruz, who hit .400 with 5 RBIs and 2 game winners.
To right center field, there goes Ramsey, and he's looking up. Oh! Jose Cruz with a home run.
Oh, boy! 40 years young. His 11th opening day as an Astro.
Also sounding off loud and clear at the plate was outfielder Billy Hatcher, who went 10 for 23 and drove in 4 runs in the 6 wins. Houston has high hopes for Hatcher in only his second full season in the majors.
Billy Hatcher is going to probably strengthen our ball club from the start of the season because he didn't play regular to about halfway through the season. He was 8th in the league in stolen bases with 38. We feel that, you know, if he can have a good year offensive-wise, he might be able to steal 60 or 70 bases.
Well, if Hatcher can do that, then the Astros are likely to see many a rally this season, because outfielder Kevin Bass is picking right up where he left off last year, when he hit .311 with 20 homers and 79 RBIs. A repeat performance by the multi-talented Bass would make quite an impression.
I can really dig that, man.
Houston fans definitely dig it when Mike Scott is on the mound. The 1986 Cy Young Award winner and Major League strikeout leader posted 25 strikeouts over his first 3 outings this year. The all-time king of the K's is 40-year-old Nolan Ryan. And with 19 strikeouts over 2 games, it looks like the Ryan Express is still rolling. The Astros are also well-armed in the bullpen with Dave Smith, who saved 4 of those first 6 wins. Fact is, Houston appears ready for the challenge of defending the Western Division crown. But the hungry Reds have other ideas. With Eric Davis leading the way, they won 6 out of their first 7. Davis hitting almost .500 with 3 homers, 8 RBIs, and 7 stolen bases.
Everybody get excitement out of hitting a 3-run home run in the bottom of the ninth when you're down 2 runs. But, you know, when you hit a home run, it only messes with the pitcher. But when you're still in bases, you got the catcher, the infielder. You know, everybody's mind is all messed up because they didn't get you. And then when you're still third, you know, that just makes it even more pressure.
Well, pressure is what Cincinnati plans to put on the rest of the West all season long. Now, let's open the notebook for This Week in Baseball's TWIB notes from around the National League. Atlanta's Deion James hit a ball in the air, but the Mets' Kevin McReynolds knew not where. So James ended up with an unlikely double, because his fly ball had caused some trouble. It did something rare and most absurd. It hit and killed an innocent bird. Back in '84, foul play had also occurred when Rickey Henderson, then with the A's, hit a ball that hit a bird. But this time, Rick Manning made the catch with ease. Still, the poor critter came down in the breeze. So an out in the field put a bird in the mitt. Some guys will try anything hoping for a hit. Up, and away in San Diego. Marvell Wynn led off with a home run and a loss to the Giants. Tony Gwynn followed with another. And then Roger Mason gave up one more to John Kruk. The only time in history that a team's first 3 batters led off a game with home runs. Free agent Bob Horner won't be hitting home runs for his former Atlanta Braves this season or for any other big league team, because this week Horner signed a contract to play in Japan with the Yakult Swallows. Now it's time for this week's quiz, brought to you by the Heartbeat of America, today's Chevy trucks. Chuck Tanner's Atlanta Braves finished in the Western Division cellar last year, and in the 2 seasons before that, Tanner finished last in the East as Pittsburgh's manager. But only one big league skipper was a last-place pushover 4 years in a row. Now, for this week's quiz, can you name him? Stay tuned for an old-timer. Last year, Boston captured the American League East, making it 6 seasons in a row a different team has won what many folks consider the toughest division in baseball. So, who do you think's going to win this year?
The division has gotten so now that it's well balanced, and Baltimore is going to be stronger.
Cleveland led the American League in hitting last year. They've improved their ball club. The Yankees have improved their ball club. Toronto has a fine ball club.
Teams like Toronto and the Yankees, even the Cleveland ball club is a very good ball club.
Hey, hold on a minute. What about Milwaukee? You know, few people are picking the Brewers. But if the early going is any indication, they just might surprise everybody. The bold new Brew Crew got out of the gate like gangbusters, starting the season with 9 straight wins to grab hold of first place under manager Tom Trebelhorn.
If I was going to have a contagious disease, I'd rather be one of winning, and it can be the same way. You can go out and feel like you're going to win every night, and when you get that, you've got a chance. In the past, we've had some problems where we've doubted. We've had a winning streak going. We've kind of said, well, when's it going to end? Rather than, hey, it doesn't have to end. We can keep playing well. And even though you lose one tough ball game, you can start to win 5 or 6 in a row again. So that's what we're trying to get to, is a point where we go out every night feeling that we're going to win that ball game. And I think it hasn't been there since '82.
And that's when the Brewers went to the World Series, remember? But now Jim Gantner is one of only 4 players remaining from that team. The others, Cecil Cooper, Robin Yount, and Paul Molitor. Outfielder Rob Deere sure has been dynamite, batting above .450 with 4 homers and 11 RBIs in those first 9 wins. Last year, he was 4th in the league in home runs, and apparently that was no fluke.
Of the 33 home runs he hit last year, there was none that were first-row jobs. All of them were well out of the park, and I think he proved that he's going to be a solid power hitter in the American League for some time.
Former Dodger Greg Brock's got some power, too. And during the win streak, he hit almost .350 with 3 home runs and 10 RBIs. Shortstop Dale Swaim hit safely in all 9 games and drove in 8 runs, while rookie catcher B.J. Surhoff displayed surprising poise and power.
A swing and a drive to center and deep. Back goes Henderson. Get up and get out of here. Gone for Surhoff.
And how about Juan Nieves, who no-hit Baltimore with a little help from his friends.
A little looper, and it Paciorek in left. Hit in the air. Yount makes a great catch, and Rodney Amos has thrown the first no-hitter in Milwaukee Brewer history. What else can happen to this team?
Now, let's review this week in baseball's TWIB notes from around the American League. 48-year-old Phil Niekro started the game for Cleveland against Toronto. He lasted only 5 innings, but wound up with a win. The save went to 42-year-old Steve Carlton, who'd gone a record 544 starts without a relief appearance. Now, get this. It was the first time in big league history that 2 300-game winners pitched in the same game for the same team.
No, I wasn't aware of that, no. I knew we threw some experience at him today.
But experience didn't matter next time these two shared the mound. The Yankees hammered Knucksie with 4 hits and 3 runs over an inning and a third. Lefty came on but fared no better, giving up 4 runs in 3 2/3 innings, and he took the loss. Last year, Seattle's Ken Phelps had the best home run ratio in the majors, while Twins pitcher Bert Blyleven gave up 50 homers, most ever in one season. So, guess what happened first time they faced each other this year? How about 2 home runs by Phelps, although Blyleven won the ball game. KC rookie Bo Jackson is off to a bodacious start, batting .500 through his first 7 games with 13 RBIs, 7 in one game against Detroit, a 3-run homer, and a grand slam. For an encore, he scored 4 touchdowns. Now let's hit on the answer to this week's quiz. Over 53 seasons, the legendary Connie Mack managed more games, won more, and lost more than any other skipper in history. He also was the only manager to finish last 4 straight seasons with the Philadelphia A's from 1940 through 43. Of course, Connie's job was safe because he was also team president. Hear ye, hear ye. Time now for a little off the top from our resident head case, Warner Fussell.
Mel, the story of a baseball revolution. A revolution which has enabled the stars of today to be outstanding in their field, regardless of hairstyle, hair color, or even the lack of hair. It was not always thus. The early days of baseball were known as the dead ball era, primarily because the game was played by deadbeats, unruly urchins headed nowhere. The lady folk and children of the day were so frightened by the ball player's shaggy appearance that the game barely survived into the 20th century. Then in 1920, Judge Kennesaw Mountain Landis was named baseball's first commissioner in an effort to head off the unkept heads of the past and usher in a new heir apparent. Short hair became the law of the land. After all, the judge's edict made it clear. It was either a haircut or a roster cut. The players who prospered in the new clean-cut era were the likes of Harry the Hat, the Barber, and the Yankee Clipper. Even in the 1950s, only the perfect head was allowed the perfect pitch. Then the turbulent 60s, the decade of unrest, spearheaded by the dissident Joe Pepitone, who not only championed new and radical hairstyles, but also introduced the infamous hairdryer. Oscar Gamble followed, and so did larger hat sizes. Then Ted Simmons introduced the hair wave. The new hairstyles were becoming more common, but total freedom did not ring until Bill Veeck broke the hairline and installed the barber chair. Even the fans got into the act, and baseball was finally headed in the right direction. Now, baseball players all over have the freedom of choice to wear their hair any way, every way, or not at all. Even the ban on heads from other countries and other worlds has been lifted. And regardless of color, every player may have his own identity. In America, there are no headbands. It's taken many years, but our national pastime is now head and shoulders above the rest, and certainly worthy of a tip of the cap.
Shine, see, you know, I wish I had somebody out there to help me sing this thing.
Once Once again, it's time to usher in a voice from the past and relive a Mel Allen magic moment. 1961, the New York Yankees were still the Bronx Bombers, and Roger Maris led the way. To set the stage, the voice of the Yankees, young Mel.
Wise baseball men had predicted greatness for Roger Maris. But it was not until the 1961 season that Maris fulfilled this promise of greatness that he had begun to show the year before. In late August, he joined the exclusive 50 club in home run hitting. Only 8 players in baseball history had hit as many as 50 home runs in a single season. Roger Maris, number 9 on his uniform, became number 9 in that select club. And then he set out in earnest after Ruth's elusive, magical 60 home run mark. There's one. It is going deep to right field, and it is gone. Number 55, Roger Maris, belting one over the auxiliary scoreboard into the bleacher. As you walked up to the plate each time after you passed 55 and you hit 56, what were the thoughts going through your mind? Did you think at all about Babe Ruth? Did you think he was peeking at you over the fence every time you got up there?
Well, not really, Mel. I don't think I've really had Mr. Ruth on my mind at the time. I was trying to hit the ball and hit it solid, and of course, let's face it, when you get to a point where you know you're real close to something, you're going to try and gun for it, and I think that's where a little bit of pressure might mount up as far as you and the pitcher are concerned, because the pitcher knows you're trying to do it, and of course you know you're trying to do it, and between the two of you, you're not getting together. He's not giving you too much to hit at, and you're swinging at bad balls.
1 ball, 1 strike. There they are. Inside, ball 2, 2-1. I imagine after all this is over, somebody may write a story or two about a month-long, day in, day out, excruciating pressure. There's one. It is going. It is going. It is gone. Number 59. 2-0 Baltimore, 3rd inning. 2 outs, nobody on. And this is what the people have come to see. There it is. There it is. If it stays fair, there it is. Number 60. How about that? There's standing ovation. A standing ovation for Roger Maris, who got number 60. They're calling him out of the dugout. This is most unusual. They are asking him to come out of the dugout. Now this is something. They are standing and asking Roger to come out. Come out now. How about that? Come out of there. There he is. There he is.
Of course, Maris finally got the record number 61, and that's this week's flashback. So let's return to 1961. Yankee Stadium was the site of the season's final game on October 1st against Boston. In the 4th inning of a scoreless contest, Maris came to bat for the 2nd time against Tracy Stallard.
Here's the windup. Fastball hit deep to right. This could be it. Way back there. Holy cow, he did it. What's the Maris? Look at him fight for that ball out there. Holy cow, what a shot.
All of us, every guy in the dugout had goosebumps, you know. It really was, and our heart would go like a trip hammer. And because it was probably the most exciting thing that's happened.
I remember he came in the dugout, and we were all talking, Roger, you know, tip your cap, and we pushed him out. I remember I pushed him out, and then he tipped his cap, and that was something that I will never forget.
One of my big thrills in baseball, just to be there at that time in the dugout. And then to see him kind of go back out, acknowledge the crowd, and say, hey, okay, I've broken the record, you know. And to me, it was just great just to be there.
Another standing ovation for Roger Maris. And they want Maris to come out and take another bow. He does. And if his teammates are pushing him out there, he wants to get down, they won't let him.
there were a lot more guys in the bullpen in right field. That was the Yankee bullpen there at that time. And Whitey went out there, and Bud Daly was there, and they all had their gloves on, hoping they could catch the ball. And
I was trying to catch that ball because some guy out in California had offered $5,000 or $10,000 if anybody got the baseball that Roger hit his 61st home run with.
A Brooklyn teenager named Sal Durante was the lucky fan who caught Roger's historic homer.
I knew it was going over my head. I jumped on my seat right away. Jumped right up on the seat, reached as high as I can go, and right in.
Oh, forget it. I didn't know what happened. And I was screaming, John was screaming, we didn't know what. Then the security guards came and they took him, and I kept saying, where's he going without me? I didn't know anything, I didn't know what was going on.
It was obvious that we had to get that baseball. It was obvious that we had to identify it, and we were going to make something of this event.
They wouldn't let me take the ball out of Yankee Stadium. Okay, and so I agreed to put my initials on the baseball, and that's the way I left it until I went to Sacramento to meet Roger, and we did a publicity stunt there. He was supposed to meet me in Sacramento and exchange the ball. The restaurant owner would give me the $5,000, I would give him the ball, and in turn he'd give Maris the ball as a gift.
That's what you call being in the right place at the right time. Fate smiled on Maris and Durante that day. And that's all for now, folks. See you next week on This Week in Baseball.